sin versus error. Right? It is essential that error cannot be confused with sin, and it is this distinction which makes salvation possible. For error can be corrected and the wrong made right, but sin, were it possible, would be irreversible. The belief in sin is necessarily based on the firm conviction that minds, not bodies, can attack. And thus the mind is guilty and will forever so remain unless a mind, not part of it, can give it absolution. Sin calls for punishment, as error for correction. And the belief that punishment is correction is clearly insane. This is the one that got me so much. It's like, this, I think a lot of us are raised, if you do something bad, you're punished. And this is, and that continues into adulthood, right? I do something bad, I'm like, I hate myself, frick you, right? I swear already, fuck you, that's, you little bitch, whatever you call ourselves. And it's this insane thing, because the more I guilt myself and shame myself, the more I don't want to take action. I berate myself for not taking action. It's like this endless cycle, right? It's this insanity, right? Sin is not error, for sin entails an arrogance which the idea of error lacks. To sin would be to violate reality and to succeed. Sin is the proclamation that attack is real and guilt is justified. It assumes the Son of God is guilty and thus succeeded in losing his innocence and making of himself what God created not. Thus is creation seen as not eternal, the will of God open to opposition and defeat. Sin is the grand illusion underlying all the ego's grandiosity, for by it God himself is changed and rendered incomplete. Let's keep going. The Son of God can be mistaken. He can deceive himself. He can even turn the power of his mind against himself, but he cannot sin. There is nothing he can do that would really change his reality in any way or make him really guilty. That is what sin would do, for such is its purpose. Yet for all the wild insanity inherent in the whole idea of sin, it is impossible. For the wages of sin is death, and how can the immortal die? All right. We can deceive ourselves that we are these guilty pieces of shit. Right? We can deceive ourselves that we're these loser, bitch babies, whatever. Right? And we can believe it, right? But in reality, like the truth of the capital T, I am as perfect as God created me. I'm as perfect as the Holy Spirit, source, whatever, the field that connects us with everything, right? Can never really change. We cannot really be guilty, right? But we can make it seem so real. And this one, for the wage of sin is death, and how can the immortal die? That our spirit, the immortal part of us, will continue forever. But the ego is a death wish, right? It's like, oh, why don't you just die already? You're so worthless, right? If we believe in this sin mentality, and the Course is saying, no. All right, let's keep going. A major tenet in the ego's insane religion is that sin is not error, but truth. And it is innocence that would deceive. Purity is seen as arrogance, and the acceptance of the self as sinful is perceived as holiness. And it is this doctrine that replaces the reality of the Son of God as his Father created him and willed that he be forever. Is this humility, or is this rather an attempt to wrest creation away from truth and keep it separate? Oh, guys, I'm telling you, being raised as Catholic, this stuff is still hard for me, right? Purity is seen as arrogance, right? Because we're taught from, since you're a kid, like, you're a sinner, sinner, sinner. All right. And when we accept ourselves as, oh, we're sinful, like, this is holiness, right? I'm atoning. What are those called in the church where you like you pay that your sins be absolved, right? Like that's the no, I forgot what it's called. You know what I'm talking about, right? And this keeps us separate. Like what the course is also teaching us, like it's not like a guy in the sky, right? Am I in the camera? The guy in the sky. It's like we have more of a direct connection to our own spirituality, our own divinity, instead of like this separation, right? There's this guy judging you, making you feel sinful. Right? All right, number 5. Any attempt to reinterpret sin as error is wholly indefensible to the ego. The idea of sin is wholly sacrosanct in its thought system and quite unapproachable except through reverence. It is the most holy concept in the ego system, lovely and powerful, wholly true, and necessarily protected with every defense as its disposal. For here lies its best defense, which all the others serve. Here is its armor, its protection, and the fundamental purpose of the special relationship in its interpretation. Yeah, this is like the biggest idea that, you know, we're sinful beings and all we do is sin. We're so sinful, we're so nasty. And yeah, it's a tough one for sure. Right. It can indeed be said that the ego made its world on sin. Only in such a world could everything be upside down, where we live in this upside down backwards world, that's for sure. This is the strange illusion which makes the clouds of guilt seem heavy and impenetrable. The solidness this world foundation seems to have found in this, for sin has changed creation from the idea of God to an ideal the ego wants. A world it rules, made up of bodies, mindless, and capable of complete corruption and decay. The clouds of guilt seem heavy and impenetrable. I've had, you know, days where it's like this heaviness over like stupid bullshit. As you guys might know from my previous videos, that this is undiagnosed, but like I have like CPTSD from, you know, emotional neglect from my parents, and not to blame anybody. It's not about blame. It's just about like understanding, you know, about myself. And if I made a mistake, like my nervous system acts up and it feels so heavy, this cloud of guilt. I had this cloud of guilt because I didn't say goodbye to somebody after my improv show. And I was like, bro, like, come on. It's like, I want to treat anyone else this way, but for me, it's like still like constant reminder, you know, but because we live in this upside down backwards world, right? Because there's still this part of me that believes, like, you know, I need this guilt to, I don't know, like to teach me a lesson or something, right? But this is upside down and backwards. It's not unconditional love, man. So if this is a mistake, it can be undone easily by truth. Any mistake can be corrected if truth be left to judge it. But if the mistake is given the status of the truth, to what can it be brought? The holiness of sin is kept in place by just this strange device. As truth, it is inviolate, yeah? And everything is brought to it for judgment. As a mistake, it must be brought to truth. It is impossible to have faith in sin, for sin is faithlessness. But it is possible to have faith that mistake can be corrected. This is like the basic tenets of the healing journey, is making this shift that instead of looking at things as a sin, and it doesn't have to be like sin as like a religious thing, that a sin can be anything that you want to make yourself feel guilty for. Instead of looking at like, I need to punish myself because I have done something bad, I have harmed whatever it is. I need to look at it as a mistake that it can be corrected. And it's a simple thing. right? But do we do it? Because I was looking at myself when I said I didn't say goodbye to that person after my show. I felt I sinned. I was guilty. I made myself feel guilty. But now I look at it as like, oh no, it's just a mistake. Mistake. Okay, next time we'll be like, okay, I'm gonna say goodbye, make sure, whatever. Simple. Man. Right. There is no stone in all the ego's citadel more heavily defended than the idea that sin is real, the natural expression of what the Son of God has made himself to be and what he is. To the ego, this is no mistake, for this is its reality. This is the truth from which escape will always be impossible. This is his past, his present, and his future, for he has somehow managed to corrupt his father and change his mind completely. This is where we can corrupt our mind so badly. We can have this, what I call the mind virus, not the woke mind virus, but you know what I mean. This doomer mind virus. We fucked up in the past. I'm fucking up in the present. So therefore, my future is fucked up. So why bother? Why try? Right? And the ego is saying, no, you're not. This is not a mistake to be corrected. Whatever you're doing, you are just a fuck up. You are sinful. Right? You should feel guilty. Right? And this is what you'll do anything to escape from this truth. 9. Mourn the death of God whom sin has killed. And this would be the ego's wish, which in its madness it thinks it has accomplished. Would you not rather that all this be nothing more than a mistake, entirely correctable, and so easily escape from its whole correction is like walking through a mist into the sunlight? For that is all it is. Perhaps you would be tempted to agree with the ego that it is far better to be sinful than mistaken. But think you carefully before you allow yourself to make this choice. Approach it not lightly, for it is the choice of hell or heaven. Hell as in the hell of the mind, right? Not being at peace, or heaven, being at peace. This shift of looking not as things as sins, this makes me guilty. This mars me forever as a person. But this is just a mistake, and I can correct it. Simple change, but we can do it. You can do it.